I now have the absolute pleasure to introduce you to my colleague, Nicholas Chow. Nick is leading our ventures for sustainability in Europe, and he will guide you through the next part of today's session with regards to sustainability. Nick, could you please take over at this point of time, start sharing your screen, your camera, and unmute yourself.
Yeah, perfect.
Sorry, no screen, we have the screen here.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, thank you everyone. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. My name is Nick Chow and I'm leading our sustainability efforts across Europe. I strongly believe that sustainability is the fastest growing opportunity for innovation, not only because of the pressing environmental and social issues like climate change, but also because businesses can achieve profitability and impact like never before. Since launching our European sustainability program, we have been working with the likes of the Alliance to End Plastic Waste, which has committed about $1.5 billion to end the plastic waste issue. At the same time, we're working with individual corporations. For example, we're working with British Telecom and their public sector customers to reach net zero carbon emissions. And so now during this challenging time, there's been a lot of trends that we've been seeing, but we've been seeing that the pandemic has only accelerated existing trends. And so a handful of those trends, if you can go to the next slide, is consumers are continuing to demand sustainable products and services. We continue to see studies that show that people are 4 to 6 times more likely to purchase and champion your company when you have a strong purpose. At the same time, we see stricter regulations continue to be implemented, and we do not expect this to go away anytime soon, especially in Europe. And looking at more of a macro level, we have this global middle class that will triple in a few decades, which is expected to increase consumption, deplete resources, increase waste, which sounds a little bit gloomy, but there is a massive opportunity with underserved consumers that will find value in companies that have a sustainable business practice. And then the other one is a big one, is climate change is really causing companies to take responsibility. We have been seeing big commitments and really early actions to reduce carbon emissions, use sustainable materials, and increase circularity across all industries, which is really exciting to see. And so in summary, we're in this really unique time where sustainability is both a necessity and a differentiator for business. And there's a lot of good news because there are also solutions available. Technology is maturing. We're seeing a boom in sustainability startups, and I can't cover everything, but just a few highlights for today. As we see industries becoming digitalized and new data sources are creating new business models and enabling companies to take data-driven decisions towards sustainability. At the same time, we have the costs of research and R&D really dropping, making new materials and deep tech solutions possible to not only get to market, but now to scale. And then a lot of the sustainability initiatives are really starting to move upstream, meaning sustainability is core to the design stage when more important decisions are being made. And lastly, systems level thinking is becoming more and more popular, especially in innovation, where there's this growing understanding that industries, businesses, value chains are really interconnected, and systems level approaches helping solve the sustainability challenges. And so ultimately, you really need to have that right mindset that profit and impact is not mutually exclusive. We encourage you to build a culture where you have the intention to solve the world's toughest challenges. You know, when you're thinking about all those environmental and social drivers, it's really considering how your business can impact what the world needs, because for us, what the world needs is a bigger opportunity than what the world wants. And I'll leave you with that, because that's enough of me. We have much more exciting startups after this, and I'm very excited to introduce 4 innovative startups driving sustainability forward. And so first up, we have Astrid from Provenance, a digital platform that empowers brands to take a step towards greater transparency. So Astrid, if you can unmute yourself and turn on your video and share your screen, that would be great.
Hi everyone, it's actually Jessie from Provenance here. I don't think
okay.
I have my screen. I'm trying to start my video, but it's not working, but I will share my screen with you. Great, can everybody see that okay?
Yep, we can see it. Yeah, perfect.
Great, thank you so much. So cool, I think I can start my video now as well. Great, perfect. Well, great to be here, everyone. So hi, I'm Jessie. I'm the founder and CEO of Provenance. So Provenance works with leading consumer goods brands and retailers to help them really build what we call the future of brand trust, which is about opening up information on the supply chain and impact behind products. So I started the company as a passionate, conscious consumer and saw a real need for brands to really meet the needs of consumers like me that wanted to know more about the social and environmental impact of the products they were buying. And indeed, I'm not alone. There is a growing generation of consumers that want to know about the story and the journey behind your products, whether it's the environmental or social impact. So at Provenance, we've really built the ultimate kind of toolkit for brands and retailers, both through a consultancy and a tech platform, to help brands really capitalize on this huge opportunity to grow brand sentiment, to gain publicity, and to really future-proof themselves for the next generation of consumers that are interested only more in this stuff. So where are we today? So we're addressing a huge 2.5 trillion sustainable FMCG market, working with brands across the food and drinks industry, but also in beauty and fashion. And we have enabled transparency, growing brand value on hundreds of products. So how do we do that? So firstly, we have a consultancy that helps brands understand the opportunity for transparency, but most importantly, we have a tech solution, which is the kind of ultimate platform for brands and retailers that want to take data that's internal to their organizations, in their supply chain tools, in their sustainability tools, and bring that information forward to the public through their channels. So whether that's your e-commerce channels, retail, or even off of products through labeling. But most importantly, behind Provenance and the platform really is this kind of unified language for transparency. All of us know how frustrating it is to try and go shopping and try and understand the different impacts behind products when people are communicating in totally different ways. What Provenance is really enabling retailers and brands to do is to kind of unify that communication and ensure that not only the information's open, but that it's also consistent wherever their product is. It's comprehensive so that people can dig into it. And the most important thing is that it's credible. It comes with that trustworthy backing that Provenance enables so that anyone who wants to know more about the claims you're making about your product can really dig into that. So let's just dig into a little case study so you can see a little bit about what we're doing. So we worked with a large food group here in the UK called Prince's, and we've worked with them across several of their product lines. This is just one such example, which is one of the brands that they sell called Napolina in the tomatoes industry. And here what we've been doing is helping that brand take all the hard work they've done in their supply chain on the social impact behind their products, ensure that all of that information is kind of complete, up to date, and completely risk-free in terms of the integrity. And then we've helped them communicate that through off-can QR codes, but also through their websites and increasingly through their B2B sales and through their retail partners. So just to kind of recap, Provenance is really here to enable commerce as a force for good. For us, we see a huge opportunity for businesses and citizens to connect, to enable a future where the most valuable brands have the most impact on society and the environment. And Provenance is really here to be that B2B solution, but also enabling shoppers to trust that information whenever they come across supply chain and impact data when shopping online or in store. If you guys have further questions, I'd absolutely love to hear them, but please also get in touch to have a discussion about how transparency could help your brand. Drop me a line at jessie@provenance.org or reach out on our website. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thanks, Jessie. Great presentation. We already have some questions for you. So who controls the green proof from Provenance?
Who controls what? Sorry, I missed
the green proof.
The green, oh, the green, like we have a green tick. It's like a verified thing. Yeah, I think that's what it's referring to. So essentially how Provenance works is brands can open up the data, but then we partner with a kind of a large selection of what we call trusted verifiers. So these are different auditors, certifiers that exist in the supply chain and help create that kind of proof. So it's the brand making the claim, the trusted verifier backed up with data, helping assure that that's true, and that enables this green tick. That whole kind of process is enabled through a fully kind of open source methodology, actually using a blockchain in order to be able to ensure it's tamper proof and auditable. But yeah, so it's a fully kind of open system that Provenance has created.
and you have a little bit more time here. So if you want to elaborate on just that verifying step,
Sure,
that would be great.
It's a really key part to what we do. So it's not just about, for brands and retailers that are looking to be more transparent on their supply chain, on their impact. There's one thing, which is opening the data. The kind of next part of that is really about ensuring that it has integrity. Transparency can be very risky for a brand or a retailer if it's not done correctly. And a big part of what we're doing at Provenance is about helping ensure that risk is the lowest possible and the return is the highest possible. So this kind of verification piece is a really essential component to that. It's also helping shoppers much more easily decide which products to buy, because it's not just a claim on a product, it's actually a full kind of digital proof on kind of various different aspects that a shopper might be interested in. And Provenance is really looking at kind of how products impact your body, how they impact society, but also how they impact the planet. So our transparency framework and approach kind of helps brands embrace all of that. But happy to chat more if people have questions. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jesse. Definitely recommend connecting afterwards on Remo. And we are going to move right along here to Lydely. So we have Alina from Lydely here, who's recycling clothing waste into a new sustainable material. So if you can unmute yourself and share your screen, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nicholas. I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see it. Can you see that?
Yeah, I have your camera, but not your screen yet.
Oh, strange. And now?
Not quite yet now either.
Let's try again.
Yes, here we go.
Yeah.
It is
perfect.
Coming up. Yeah, perfect. It's loading. All right. Yeah, perfect.
There we are. So first of all, thank you so much, Nicholas, for having me. My name's Alina. I'm the founder and CEO of Lydely, and I'm really excited to tell you guys all about what I'm doing. So just to begin, we've produced the world's first ever clothing hanger made from unwanted clothing. We do this to create an absolutely circular economy, but why exactly are we doing this? So we actually solve with Lydely 2 environmental problems with one solution. The first problem we solve is that of clothing waste. So I was actually in Tanzania in the end of 2018, and with my technical background, I saw actually all these donations that end up in landfill. And so it was really sad to find out that 100 billion garments are produced every year, but 87% of all the material used for clothing, even after we donate, ends up in landfill and incineration, producing tons of CO2 emissions. And there's very few ways to actually recycle or reuse textiles and blends of textiles at scale. There's lots of laws coming into place, as you probably all know, like the European Commission's Green Deal, which is actually going to force brands to start reusing textiles. The second problem we solve is that of plastics, but in this particular case, I'm giving the example of plastic and wooden clothing hangers. So as you know, plastic requires the use of requires actually production of CO2, and polystyrene is usually the typical plastic used for producing clothing hangers. Clothing hangers usually end up in landfill after one use, and they leach toxic chemicals into our water supply. And of course, being made from oil-based plastics, it's a fossil fuel which is non-renewable and contributes to global warming. And of course, if we were using other materials such as wood, for example, well, that actually contributes to large-scale deforestation. And why not just use our waste to solve the problem? So we basically have produced the world's first plastic alternative made from waste clothing. We solve both the clothing waste problem and the oil-based plastics problem by just reusing waste to create our material. We currently partner with charities and retailers to collect clothing. We can recycle polyester, cotton, viscose, elastane, and blends of all of these materials. We collect the clothing and pre-sort it, and then use our very low energy technology to turn it into tons of this new material. The material itself is a great alternative to plastic, wood, or metal. It's very durable and firm. It's not toxic, and of course, it's sustainable. The material can be used exactly how you use plastics at the moment. So injection molding, extrusion molding, 3D printing, etc. So really in existing plastic machinery. The end use of the material, it's mechanically recyclable up to 5 times, and we've also produced a biodegradable version. So clothing hangers is not the only thing we can produce. We can produce so many different things. For example, furniture, interiors or home and living products such as plant pots, packaging, new products such as the world's first suitcase made from recycled textiles, or even parts of interiors from the automotive industry. So the opportunities really are endless, and using our method, we can save up to 85% of CO2 equivalent emissions by diverting clothing away from landfill. So this is a really unique story for you to tell your customers, and you could be one of the first in your industry to use this and tell your customers you're sustainable, you're innovative, and you're creating a circular economy. So how to get started? You could get started with clothing hangers, for example, but then we can go into so much more: logistics hangers, install furniture, interiors, new products, packaging. The possibilities really are endless. We're actually a Berlin-based startup, so you probably think, I've got a very strong London accent, but we're actually now based in Berlin, Germany. My background is in chemical engineering. So I worked as an engineer for over 7 years, working really on the factory floor in oil and gas, so the other side, also then in sustainability, working in waste to energy and coffee waste to biofuels. And I was actually recently on the Forbes 30 under 30 list under the manufacturing and industry category. My co-founder is a business expert and really has a background in digital marketing, e-commerce, etc. And our goal as a company is to really convert clothing and reduce the world's fashion footprint. So if you really want to get involved, if you want to help the environment and become as circular and sustainable as we would like the world to be, then definitely get in touch with me. Happy for you to drop me an email. And I know that we have a question or a Q&A round now. So happy to answer any questions that you have then too. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Alina. Love what you guys are working on. We do have a quick question here. So who is your target group in the fashion industry?
But at the moment, anyone looking to replace their plastic clothing hangers or wooden hangers even with new hangers, and also people looking to recycle their textile waste. But it doesn't have to be clothing hangers, as I just mentioned. So, we are working with a few furniture brands to actually look at replacing some of their plastics that they use, such as polypropylene, with our material. So there's a lot that we can do to promote circularity within an organization. The easiest way to get started with us is to really start replacing clothing hangers.
Perfect. And then really quick questions, maybe yes or no. Can your plastic be used for food packaging?
At the moment, no. Food industry is a very difficult one to go into, and you need really high levels of health and safety and certification. So it's not something we've worked on at the moment. We're trying to work on other applications that are just easier to go to market, but it's definitely something we are considering for the future.
Got it. Okay, perfect. And that is it right now. I think there's a few people who might want to connect afterwards, but we are going to keep rolling through here. So thank you, Alina. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Definitely recommend you guys connect on Remo. Next up, we have Henry from Buckettech, who has invented a low-cost, high-performance, eco-friendly plastic packaging. So Henry, if you can turn on your mic, turn on your video, and also share your screen, that would be great.
Yes, hello everybody. Let me share my screen. Let me know when it's okay. Can you see it?
Yep.
So good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to pitch our venture. My name is Henry Goshen. I'm the CEO of Buckettech. Buckettech is Buckettech is a green tech R&D company, and our focus is packaging. Our vision is to create a technology platform to underpin a new generation of sustainable packaging solutions for brands, converters, and retail. Reduce, reuse, and recycle features at the top of the waste management hierarchy as key solutions to reduce the environmental impact of packaging, but offering packaging solutions that meet these three criteria is challenging and usually costly. Now, why is that? When you look at reusable packaging, for instance, these are often heavier and contain more material to make them robust, and hence has a direct impact on pricing. So at Buckettech, what we've learned is that to successfully introduce sustainable packaging alternatives that actually meets the needs of the market, you need to be at minimum close to parity with single-use solutions or the industry standards. We have a new manufacturing technology named EcoCore that creates reusable, recyclable, lightweight, and low-cost packaging, and we license this technology. The USPs of EcoCore is that it's an innovative new foaming technology that creates a skin foam skin structure. It's easy to use, can be scaled using existing install base of injection molding machines, and it uses PP that is known to the industry and the value chain. It's proven. We scaled it to mass production in the UK for cups, working in another application in the US, and is patent protected. I'll share two different business cases to illustrate how our technology meets the goals of our client while complying with upcoming legislation. So the first example is the reusable and recyclable insulated cups that uses our technology today. The technological advantages of our EcoCore cups is that they are 5.5 times more rigid and durable compared to other cups with the same amount of material and weight. They're fully recyclable, made of PP only, 100%. They can contain up to 70% less plastic thanks to our foaming technology, and they have a very low production cost. We have an extremely short cycle time and require less energy. And finally, the cups are insulated. So the EcoCore adds new properties to reusable cups, so namely the insulation here, and we're removing the cost barrier to give businesses the opportunity to either give the cup for free to consumers or at a low cost with incentives to reuse and recycle. At Waitrose in the UK, for instance, our EcoCore cups are analogous with the reusable carrier bags that have become so popular in our supermarkets today. In this other business case, we were briefed by the client and asked to migrate a non-recyclable food container to a recyclable alternative at a similar cost. And with EcoCore, what we delivered was an enhanced container that is actually fully insulated to put in the microwave, that is 100% recyclable, and we only had a 1.2% increase in cost. So what are we looking for? We're looking for partners, obviously, to take our technology to market our products, and I see two opportunities. Our reusable coffee cups are only available through distributors. There's an opportunity to commercialize these and retail them in supermarkets as a set of picnic kits, party cups at a very low price. And finally, you could design new EcoCore packaging solutions. We're working on a lot of single-use packaging applications that cannot be reusable, such as porta pots, noodle pots, paint pots, pails, and also a meat tray project that we're working on. So that's what we have to offer. I hope you like it. I'm open for questions. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Henry. Thanks for the presentation. We do have a few questions here. The first one is, who do you sell to? Who's your target market?
So we got different kinds of clients. We got converters today in our portfolio of clients. So people that are designing, working for brands, and we work directly with some large brands, redesigning their packaging in conjunction with their value chain and suppliers in their value chain.
Okay, I think that's going to be it on time. So Henry, I appreciate the presentation. Love what you guys are working on. For anyone who has other questions, please connect with Henry on Remo afterwards. We're going to keep on rolling along. Thanks, Henry. Next up, we have Willem from Empower, solving the plastic waste problem by giving plastic a value and reliable source for recycled plastic. So Willem, if you can unmute and share your screen, that'd be great.
Yep, thanks. Well, let's see if I can share.
All right, yeah. Perfect.
Okay, yeah, I'm Willem, CEO and one of the founders of Empower. And Empower started out 2.5 years ago with the aim of building a global plastic waste deposit system. So I won't go deeply into the plastic waste problem, but just mention this study published last year showing traces of toxic plastic waste in the blood and urine samples of 97% of the children aged 5 to 8 years old in Germany. And when you take that study and look at this graph, which is showing the growth in production of virgin plastics, I think we all see kind of the urgency to act. When we launched the digital deposit system, our vision was that you should be able to pick up plastic waste anywhere, from your home or a beach cleanup, take it to a collection point, and get an immediate financial reward. By using apps and blockchain technology, we have a solution that can be deployed quickly anywhere in the world. And by deploying it, we both reduce the amounts of plastic waste in nature and provide income and jobs in areas where it's needed the most. And in just 1 year after the launch, we have done cleanups in 15 countries and proving that this actually works and is scalable. And we also learned a lot about the use of incentives, as well as about local waste collection and infrastructure. To fund the cleanups, we made a volunteer funding scheme where anyone could, businesses or individuals, can offset their plastic waste footprint by donating to cleanups. And we also got brands that want to make a real impact, making products that also fund the cleanup of plastic waste around the world for every product they sell. So our solution is based on the principles of the plastic bottle deposit system, which is the world's most successful recycling system, recycling about 97% of the bottles. And while only 9% of all plastics in general are recycled, so if we can increase that towards 90%, we will have a huge environmental and financial impact. And the successful collection we did left us with a lot of plastics, and also the question, where does it end up? And to make a complete circular system, we need to trace the materials and ensure they end up where they have the highest value to society. So for the last 1.5 years, we have been building a system that also incentivizes the sourcing and tracking of the collected plastic waste to ensure that it does not end up in nature again. And with our tools, we gather data and digital handshakes at all these transaction points that you see, allowing us to follow the plastic from collection into new products. And this data allow us to also build and launch a platform that facilitates the sourcing of collected recycled plastics by making collection and tracking data available to all the relevant parties. And for the waste collectors and the aggregators, we really provide 3 tools, and it's the tools to crowdsource the collection and segregation at source through incentives. We give them access to market through digitizations of waste streams, and we give them access to alternative funding through cleanup certificates and really matching with cleanup sponsors. For the producers and brands, we provide access to waste streams and allow them to source recyclable materials with a click. And it also includes the tools to easily track movement of materials through the supply chain. And finally, the tools to create materials and products with digital twins and a verified journey, which includes social and environmental data all the way from collection. So this leaves us really with a set of tools that both facilitates scalable, transparent waste collection and recycling infrastructure around the world. It provides a reliable supply of high volumes of recycled materials, and it matches this with the demand and ensures that the plastic is diverted from nature and landfills and into a circular economy. And in the end, we can get sustainable products that can be tied up to new incentive systems so that they don't leak out into nature again. So this really is a digital infrastructure that can power the move from a linear to a circular economy. And if you have a circular economy, you also have a world without waste. So yeah, thank you very much. And we really want to get in touch with anyone of you to work towards this word.
Awesome, thank you, Willem. Appreciate the presentation. One question coming through, I can see. Yeah. All right, will you target plastics in the ocean too?
Yes, so we both have, it's a really generic kind of collection system and tool. So it's both in Europe from kind of retailers or agriculture. It's in Africa where they set it up in big cities. And we also do like offshore with vessels that can use this to collect ocean plastic, and is all kind of incentivized and really tracking the plastic from collection to reuse again.
Awesome, thank you, Willem. Really like what you're working on. That's time for now. And for anyone who has other questions, please connect with Willem on email afterwards, and then I'll pass it back to Johannes from here.
Great.
And enjoy the rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick, and thank you very much all the startups that just presented their technologies. We will be back with you in 10 minutes time, around 15:20. We will continue, so 3:20, sorry, be back here with us. We have a great keynote after our break, and then continue with some startup pitches for food. Thank you very much. So be back on time. Thank you.